Hello Silver friends, this is Joli from QuickSilverHair, and today we're going to talk about oils, butters, and serums. Are they safe for our hair? Are they safe for silver hair? Are they safe for curly hair? What about coconut oil? What about essential oils? And are silicones actually evil? We're going to get into all of that in this conversation. So let's get started. First, right off the bat, let's talk about, are oils safe for curly hair? Recently, it has become a new rule in the Curly Girl method to ban all oils from your hair diet. And I find this one to have no basis in any scientific reasoning or purpose, so I'm going to address it straight on. I do believe that oils are safe for curly hair. I think that we as human beings are rather intuitive, and we have been for most of the time that we've existed on this planet. And for that duration, across the globe, across all cultures, and for many centuries, the human being has used oils on their hair for manageability, combability, slip, shine, and protection. I don't think as human beings we always get it wrong. We do know what's good for our body and our skin and our hair. Moving on from the intuitive side of things, let's talk about the science behind using oils on our hair. The outer layer of the hair is the lipid layer. This lipid layer is created by the scalp, and the sebum that the scalp produces travels down the hair strand. On straighter hair, it travels further than it does on curly hair. This is believed to be because the curl has a bend and a kink in it, and the oil can't always travel all of those bends and kinks, so it doesn't make it as far. The longer your hair is, the more degraded the lipid layer is on the lengths of your hair. And then we add in all of the things that we do to manipulate our hair with hair dryers, curling irons, flat irons. We use perms, we color our hair, and so forth, and all of those things damage that lipid layer. Add into that swimming pools, UV damage, and other environmental factors, and you have a very degraded lipid layer. So chemists formulate products to contain oils so that we can replicate and replace that lipid layer. Oils are blended into these formulas for slip, shine, combability, manageability, and protection. What do oils do for hair? There are two mechanisms of action with oils on the hair. One is occlusive, which is creating a barrier or a sealant, and two is emollient, or softening the hair. Some oils do both of these jobs. Oils are not well studied yet. We don't have a lot of data as far as laboratory data on what oils do to the hair and how the hair responds to them. So we have been using oils for all of these years very intuitively. There is some data on coconut oil being very penetrating to the hair strand and actually filling in gaps and being very protective to the hair. There are some caveats to that, which I will get into in a minute when I talk about coconut oil directly. But all in all, we don't have all the information that we should or could have. And I kind of get this. I kind of understand why we don't have a lot of data, because there are tons of oils, and there are tons of oils that people use on their hair, and there's many, many different hair types. So it would take a massive study to really fully understand even just the most common oils that are used for hair and how they respond when applied to the hair and what benefits they provide to the hair. So a lot of what we know is intuitive, and some of it is we know as the user how it makes our hair feel. Some of the benefits for oils and butters for hair that we do know about are, of course, replicating that lipid layer, providing softness, shine, manageability, slip. They can help protect your hair, and with coarser hair types, they can actually provide some of that desperately needed softening. In lower porosity hair types, you can see a benefit from oils for shine and reducing frizz. You can coat your hair in oil before you go into a swimming pool, for instance, and protect your hair from chlorine. This is particularly valuable for silver hair so that you don't get any discoloration from the chlorine. Oils can be used on the skin. They can be used for cuticle oil, and some of them can be used to create a barrier to protect your skin from the environment. Also, you can use oils on your eyebrows for conditioning, softening, and hair growth. You can also use oils on your scalp, and scalp care and oil care go a long ways together because there are many benefits to certain oils for stimulating hair growth and circulation and providing moisture to the barrier and repairing the barrier on your scalp. Oils and butters can become problematic with certain hair types depending on what the oil or butter is and what the hair type is. My rule of thumb is that the thinner and finer the oil, it is meant for thinner and finer hair. The thicker and butterier an oil is meant for thicker and coarser hair. This is also true for porosity. The lower your porosity, the better a thinner oil is going to work for your hair. The higher your porosity, the better a thicker oil or butter will work for your hair. Can you use oils for conditioning treatments? So this is where it gets a little tricky. I used to love a hot oil treatment, and I'm not opposed to that now, but I think we have to understand what we're actually getting from that treatment. I see it a lot of times where people are putting oils neat on their hair and expecting their hair to come out soft and beautiful and conditioned and wonderful. And while this might work for certain hair types with certain oils, it's not universally the best idea. Water is moisture, oil is fat. What we need when we need a deep conditioning treatment is we need products to penetrate the hair, soften it, and make it feel better. Oil may feel good at first, but if your hair was already dry, it may actually make your hair drier. It may actually make it worse. Think of it this way: if you were walking through the desert and your mouth was just dry as it could be, and you came upon a bottle of water and a bottle of oil, which one are you going to drink? Butters can coat dry hair and make it drier because it's blocking moisture from entering the hair, and it stops the escape of moisture from the hair properly. So this creates an imbalance that we don't really want to have. So I really do think that using oils neat in particular as a conditioning treatment is not the best option. Let's talk about some oils that are commonly found in hair products. Solid at room temperature oils include Babassu, coconut oil, shea butter, cocoa butter, mango butter, muru butter, and so forth. Liquid at room temperature in formulas includes argan oil, grapeseed oil, olive oil, avocado oil, sweet almond oil, marula oil, sunflower oil, squalane oil, and safflower oil. I do believe that if you have these oils properly blended into a formulation, they're probably going to work far better than if you are using them neat. If you have silver hair, I would absolutely avoid these oils due to staining, especially if you're using them neat. If they're blended into a formula and the formula is white, it's possible that the oils that were used were colorless, which there are colorless oils for formulation. Anyway, the oils I would avoid 100% of the time are black castor oil, hemp oil, olive oil, avocado oil, rose hip oil, and sea buckthorn oil. These oils all could cause staining on silver hair. So if you see a product that is the tint of one of those oils, or you're thinking about using one of those oils neat, I would skip it and go for a clear oil instead. I want to highlight a couple of oils for you that are clear and I think are great for use on silver hair. The first one, of course, is squalane oil. As y'all all know, it's my favorite, and it is one that I have used in my formulas for my hair oils. Squalane oil is great for finer, thinner hair types because it is lightweight and does not weigh your hair down, and it doesn't feel greasy. I think that squalane oil can be used on all hair types, but if you have fine, thin hair, this is the oil for you. Another oil similar to squalane oil is marula oil. It's a little bit harder to find and it can be quite expensive. It does have a slight yellow tint to it, but as far as vegetable and plant-based oils go, it is one of the clearer oils. The next oil I want to talk about for finer, thinner hair types and low porosity hair is Babassu oil. This is a great alternative to coconut oil for that hair type because it will actually help penetrate the hair, and it actually does do the same job as coconut oil without the side effects on that finer, thinner, lighter hair. And of course, for those of you with medium to coarse hair or medium to high porosity hair, coconut oil is also a fantastic option. Let's talk about coconut oil. While coconut oil can be good for that medium coarse or medium to high porosity hair, it is not that great for all hair types or all climates for that matter. While it penetrates the hair well, if your hair is already dry, say you live in a dry climate and you're already struggling with your hair feeling dry, coconut oil is not the answer, because what your hair is seeking is moisture. And if you put coconut oil on the hair, it actually blocks moisture from entering or escaping from the hair and can actually increase the dryness feeling. If you live in a high humidity area, coconut oil can actually be beneficial because it can block humidity and create a better hold on your hair, better control over your style because it's blocking the humidity from disrupting your hairstyle. For textured hair types, it can actually increase the hair strength and increase the softness of the hair. As I mentioned earlier, when using coconut oil neat, it is best for coarser and higher porosity hair types. And really, the very best way to use coconut oil, the way that is proven, is to use it pre-poo. What this means is you will coat your scalp and your hair with coconut oil 20 minutes to 1 hour before you take a shower, and it helps with protecting your hair from protein loss and will also help cleanse your scalp of debris and sebum and so forth. Just make sure you wash it out completely. I don't think it's that great to leave it on all night long. If you have been doing that and it works for you, that's great, but I usually don't recommend anybody use something on their hair for more than an hour. Some cautions with coconut oil are that if you have dandruff, dermatitis, or psoriasis, coconut oil may make those problems worse, so you definitely don't want to use coconut oil on your scalp. If your hair is sensitive to glycerin, much of the glycerin in our hair products is derived from coconut oil, so you may want to avoid coconut oil entirely. You can learn more about everything I know about coconut oil on a very expansive post that I did, and I will link that in the description box below so you can go learn all things coconut oil and hair. So moving right along to Babassu oil. This is a lovely thin oil that creates a thin protective barrier on the hair. It actually is more beneficial to lower porosity hair types and can be used instead of coconut oil in that way. You can also use it the same way you use coconut oil in a pre-poo treatment. My favorite Babassu product is from Mael. It is their Babassu and Mint Deep Conditioner. It is absolutely perfect because you get the best of both worlds. You get the deep conditioning and you get that oil treatment at the same time. Next up is squalane oil. So let's get a little bit more into that, a little more details on squalane oil because it's my favorite and I'm biased. Anyway, squalane oil is a clear, moisturizing, and softening oil. It soothes the scalp from conditions like dandruff, acne, eczema, psoriasis, rosacea, and more. I would highly suggest if you do have those issues that you don't leave the squalane on your hair for more than 20 minutes to an hour. You might want to try using it as a pre-poo treatment. It helps lock in moisture, especially in drier climates and drier hair types, which is really great for our silver hair. It can strengthen damaged hair by protecting it, and it provides heat protection of hair so it can be used before you use heat tools. Now, not all squalane oil is rated to 450 degrees. The Scene Magic Serum is rated to 450 degrees if you want to use it before, and it does have squalane oil in it. The squalane oil, it just sinks in. That's one of the things I love about it is once I've used it, I don't know it's there. My hair doesn't feel greasy. It's non-comedogenic, so you can use it on your skin, you can use it on your scalp, and it won't clog your pores. It's a great replacement for silicone-based serums if you are absolutely opposed to using silicones and you just don't want to use those on your hair, which I completely understand. Then squalane is probably for you because it is basically Mother Nature's serum. You can use it when your hair is completely finished, styled, and set on the ends of your hair to protect your hair from split ends. I like to put it on the very ends of my hair when it is very dry out to help protect from split ends. You can also use it to scrunch out the crunch. If you have curly hair and you get a gel cast, you can put a little bit of squalane oil on your hands as you scrunch out your hair. And this allows you to put oil back on your hair to help protect it once you've broken that cast. So what are the best ways to use oils? Well, you can do hot oil treatments. I don't adhere to this anymore. I used to be rather religious about it, but I don't feel that it benefits my hair anymore. However, if you like a hot oil treatment, you could actually blend squalane, Babassu, and coconut oil, apply generously to your hair, cover in a cap, and heat up with your hair dryer, and then wash it out with shampoo in about an hour. A pre-poo treatment looks pretty similar. You would apply whatever oil is your oil of choice to your scalp and your hair generously, put on a cap, wander around for 20 minutes to an hour, and then shampoo it out. Use oils to seal and finish your style. So once you have finished flat ironing your hair, you can use an oil to help seal the cuticle and prevent frizz. Again, as I mentioned before, you can use oils to scrunch out the crunch. Take a tiny bit in your hands and run them through your hair to break up the cast from gel. You can also use silicone-based serums for that, and I'll get into that in just a second. Hair oiling cautions pretty much go back to the same ones I mentioned about coconut oil. If you have any scalp conditions that you're concerned about, I would avoid putting oils on your scalp. If you are using these treatments for deep conditioning, I would say that is not really the best idea because you're not going to get the results that you would get from using a deep conditioner. You could always do a hot oil treatment or a deep conditioning treatment and do a side-by-side, compare, see which one you like the best. If your hair is dry, do not use an oil treatment to replenish moisture. It would be far better to deep condition. All right, so let's talk about silicones. Are they evil or not? This is a hot topic and I get a lot of pushback when I start talking about silicones. But the thing is that when we banned silicones from hair care, it was the 90s and we were coating our hair like shellac to make it shiny and smooth and slick as ever lovin', right? We wanted that really sleek look. That was the look back then. And we were cooking those silicones onto our hair with very hot irons. And I can see why it was necessary to dial that back a notch. But silicones have come a long way and they have evolved with hair care. And I don't think they're as dangerous as they used to be for our hair. Do they build up? Absolutely. There are certain types of silicones that can build up on your hair and you want to make sure that you're clarifying regularly. You don't want to use silicones if you are only co-washing your hair, and you want to make sure that they aren't in all of your products. You don't want silicones in your shampoo, your conditioner, your leave-in, your hairspray, your mousse, your gel, and then, do a finishing style with a silicone-based serum. That's just too much silicone for one wash day. For me, I've found that coupling, using one product with silicone and clarifying on a regular basis is enough for me to not get buildup from silicones. Silicones serve very good purpose in hair care, and for many hair types, they're valuable and very valuable. And for silver hair types in particular, I have found that there are some people who cannot go without silicones. Their hair behaves better and feels better with silicones in them. Silicones are thin and lightweight, and they usually don't weigh the hair down unless you're using too much of them. They're great for straight hair and helping to control frizz and flyaways. They reduce moisture loss by creating a protective barrier, much like oils do. And they are a great alternative to glycerin. So if you find that every product that has glycerin in it, your hair is reacting to, it might be time to kind of explore having some silicones in your hair diet. They protect the hair from humidity, so they have a very great value in high humidity areas because they will help with keeping your hairstyle once you have styled it. They provide lubrication and slip and conditioners, which can be really valuable for very tangly hair types. For people who get a lot of tangles, silicones can be very helpful for detangling. And where oils fail, silicones will pick up the beat when it comes to frizz and shine. What to look for in silicone-based serums. Today, most silicones are water or shampoo soluble. Dimethicone seems to be the most prominent one. Amodimethicone is one I avoid because I have curly hair and it tends to straighten my hair because I have looser curls. They are on the wavy side, so they can easily become weighed down, and amodimethicone actually does put a protective layer on the cuticle. The cool thing about amodimethicone is it doesn't build up on itself. So if you have straight hair, amodimethicone might be perfect for you. Again, dimethicones seem to be the better choice with silicones as far as not building up and being easily removed. If it is prefaced with PEG, it is most likely a water-soluble silicone. So that one is something to look for if you do not want to use a shampoo-soluble silicone. Silicones I would always avoid simply for environmental factors are the cyclos. There are about 6 of them and they all have the preface of CYCLO, cyclo. One of them, the cyclo, is in the middle of the word, but you'll see it on the label and you'll know what I'm talking about. And I would always avoid any silicone serum that has a dye in it. So check out your serums, look at the label. Towards the end of the label, there'll be a color with a number behind it, and that usually means that there is a color added to the product. That is the reason I really love the Loma Nourishing Oils, is they do contain silicones, they do not contain any dyes, and they do not build up on your hair. I prefer the Nourishing Oil treatment, but they also have the light nourishing oil treatment. This is really good if you have very, very fine hair. These are great. They don't have a strong scent. I really love them. I know I push them all the time, but they really are very good products. So moving on to essential oils. Are there essential oils that are beneficial to the hair? Not really. And it's not really an area that is well studied. Now, we add essential oils to formulas all the time for their benefits in being antibacterial, antifungal, anti-inflammatory. So they're really more for the scalp. And some top contenders for me that are great for hair are tea tree oil, not one I prefer because it has a pungent odor, but it is incredibly valuable as an antifungal, antibacterial, and so forth. Lavender oil and rosemary oil, they are closely related and they both provide anti-inflammatory, antifungal, antibacterial, and antimicrobial properties. Lavender is my favorite for the scent, of course, but I know a lot of people don't like it, so you could do rosemary. It is the most common medicinal essential oil there is, so that's why you see it so often, because it's very versatile and it's easy to blend into formulations. Ginger oil is another one. This one is not one that is talked about very often. I definitely wouldn't use this neat on your hair, and I would use it in a very low concentration because it is orange. And the use of ginger oil is for warming, so it adds to circulation and can help promote hair growth. So it's a really good one for scalp massage. It also is anti-inflammatory, antifungal, antibacterial, and so forth. Ginger oil is also widely used for dandruff, scalp infections, and dry scalp. Rosemary oil, as I mentioned earlier, is very similar to lavender oil and holds many of the same properties. I would say that it's also a warming oil similar to ginger oil, and it does do a great job of helping to promote hair growth. There is a study out there that says it is as beneficial as minoxidil. There are some people that are kicking back on that study and saying that it's not 100% accurate. However, the data is there that they did compare minoxidil and rosemary oil side by side and found that both did pretty similar jobs. So until they come up with some more hard-hitting evidence, I'm going to maintain that it does help with hair growth. All right, so that's it for this video. I hope that you found it helpful and informative. I will link everything I possibly can in the description box below. If you have any questions or comments, please leave those in the comments section and I will get back to you as soon as I can. While you're down there, hit that like button if you liked this video and found it informative. If you like my channel and you would like to see more of my content, please subscribe because I would love to see you next time. Until then, shine on.